the girl he likes rejects him for being fat. But years later, he will get his revenge on her. Makabe is a sweet boy with good intentions. But since that doesn't matter in the world, everyone else only sees his appearance and calls him a pig because of his weight. One day, while the other kids are teasing him, Aki comes to his rescue. Since Makabe had never been defended before, he thought the girl saved him because she liked him. He got his hopes up, just like you did with your crush, and our friend confessed his love to her. But the girl rejects him and says she only saved him because she felt sorry for him. Besides, she could never be the girlfriend of someone as ugly as him. She could never be the girlfriend of a pig. Makabe's heart breaks into 1,000 pieces, but this motivates him to change. He joins a gym and begins his transformation, all to complete his revenge. A few years pass, and now Makabe has the body of a Greek god. For God's sake, look at those biceps. Makabe now exercises every day and watches what he eats. That day, Makabe enters his new school. While walking, the protagonist thinks that in this world, the only thing that matters is appearance. As long as you are handsome, everything will be in your favor, and you can do things that ordinary people can't. And he is right because Makabe sees the girls playing tennis but thinks they saw him and approach him to complain. However, they actually scold another guy for watching them play. This guy is ugly, while Makabe is handsome, so instead of bothering him, the girls invite him to watch them play. Upon arriving at the school, he sees a boy confessing to the girl everyone considers the most beautiful but also the cruelest because of how she rejects boys, like this guy whom she rejects in front of everyone and calls Little Mole. And if you have a keen eye, this same girl is Aki, the girl who rejected Makabe. He knows this, but when he finds her on the stairs, he is still a little afraid upon seeing her. However, he is determined. At that moment, Aki arrives in the classroom to reject another poor boy. This time, she takes his love letter and tears it up in front of everyone. F for the boy. This, instead of scaring Makabe, gives him more encouragement to take revenge on the girl. That's why he starts his plan and begins to follow one of Aki's followers. When he reaches his destination, Makabe finds the girl with many plates of food. And when I say many, I mean a lot. She is embarrassed to see someone discover her secret and tells Makabe that due to her metabolism, she has to eat a lot of food. But no one can see her because it would ruin her image. Makabe tells her that he will keep her secret, but now he has an ace up his sleeve. Makabe starts spending more time with Aki, if you can call it that. The protagonist knows he has to do something to earn the girl's trust, and the opportunity presents itself because when she is alone, the boy she initially rejected appears, and he is not in a good mood. With a pair of scissors, he tries to hurt her for humiliating him. But just at that moment, the hero arrives to save her, making the other boy run away. Aki doesn't know what to say about what just happened, but Makabe simply tells her that she looks prettier when she smiles. Makabe wants to be a good and sweet boy to gain Aki's trust, make her fall in love with him, and do to her what she did to him. But it won't be that easy because when he arrives at school, someone leaves him a note calling him Little Piggy, his old nickname. Makabe knows he has to do something about it because if the person who discovered his secret was Aki, everything will be lost. Additionally, everyone else will find out he used to be fat and will despise him like they did when he was a child. The one who will help him with this is Aki's friend, or rather her servant, Yoshino. The girl goes to buy Aki's food, but due to the crowd, she can't do much, so Makabe helps her. However, he doesn't do it without asking for something in return because he asks her to take him to Aki. Since Yoshino has no personality, she complies. When Aki sees him, she scolds Yoshino for bringing him to her. Aki explains that Yoshino's family has always worked for her family, so she is like her butler. Then, she thanks him for saving her. Aki's sense of superiority only makes the protagonist more determined to carry out his plan. Thus, he activates his charm and begins. Makabe tells Aki that he wants her to be more dependent on him. He knows that the quicker he wins Aki's heart, the better, and his plan is working. However, while walking, he falls into a trap and is confronted by a hooded figure who calls him Little Piggy. That person is Yoshino. Yes, she is the one who knows Makabe's identity. She tells him she has figured out what he wants to do to miss Aki. What the protagonist doesn't understand is how she knows him, and it turns out that Yoshino has always been around. Not everything is bad because Yoshino tells him that she will support his plan. She also wants to see Aki suffer. This is good for Makabe, but he knows he can't trust Yoshino entirely because she might be trying to earn his trust to reveal his plan. For now, he needs to get Aki's email address. To practice, Makabe is ready to ask his friend Futaba for her email. The problem is that the protagonist has never asked for a girl's contact information and actually has no contacts. However, the perfect opportunity arises because Futaba has to stay and clean the classroom that day. Makabe takes advantage of this and tells her that he will clean for her. Don't think he's doing it to help her, it's because Aki will also stay to clean. While cleaning the windows, Futaba comes to the classroom and tells him that her friends are having a barbecue that weekend, but she doesn't want to go. She'd rather go to the movies with him, just the two of them. Makabe gets excited because a girl is asking him out on a date. But he remembers his main goal and tells Futaba he can't because he has something to do. This makes Makabe happy because a girl inviting him out means he is popular. Makabe must not relax because Aki arrives. With the confidence he's gained, he tells Aki that it would be nice if the two of them went out someday, but her response is a cold thank you.
Emotional, damn it!
The boy doesn't give up and asks for her email, but she says her phone is being repaired and she will give it to him when it's fixed. However, Makabe already knows not to trust her, and he's right because she later tells him she will never give him her contact information. Yoshino tells him that without her help, he won't achieve anything. If she helps him, everything will go better, and to prove it, she gives him Aki's number. Days later, the whole class is worried because the teacher said that if even one student fails the exams, everyone will have to attend remedial classes. The problem is this guy, Shiri. Makabe knows that if he has to attend remedial classes, it will be a delay in his plan. Futaba likes this because the two of them will spend time together, although she has a different story in her head. When the two begin studying in the library, they realize that Aki and Yoshino are there as well. Just like Shuri, Yoshino hasn't been getting good grades either. Aki thinks Makabe also has poor grades and takes the opportunity to mock him. But Makabe sees this as a chance and suggests a bet, he and Shuri against Aki and Yoshino. If he loses, she can give him a nickname, and he will use it for the rest of the year. But if she loses, she will have to go on a date with him. Confident that she will win, Aki adds another condition. If she wins, he will have to buy her lunch for the rest of the year. Makabe agrees because he knows that if Yoshino helps him, the battle will be 3 against 1 instead of 2 versus 2. The two groups start studying, but Aki thinks she can easily defeat him. However, when she finds out that Makabe is the only student who has had perfect grades, she becomes a bit anxious. Makabe also won't have it easy because when he calls Yoshino to coordinate the plan, she tells him she can't help this time because she really needs to get good grades or she'll be expelled. So, they have no choice but to genuinely study. On the day of the exam, Yoshino apologizes to him for not being able to help with his plan. But he tells her it's okay. He was the one who started the fight. At least she gives him a soda before the exam starts. As he's about to begin, Makabe realizes he's studied everything. But suddenly he feels a stomachache. Yep, it's because of the soda Yoshino gave him. After finishing the exam, he runs to Aki's classroom to confront her about the dirty trick, but he mistakes another girl for her. The girl tells him that Aki didn't come because she's sick. Makabe doesn't understand why Yoshino would give him a laxative if they knew they were going to lose. However, it turns out it was actually the breakfast his mom made that caused the trouble, not the drink Yoshino gave him.
No, my bad.
In the end, Shiri and Yoshino passed, and the ones who had to attend remedial classes were the protagonists. But it's not all bad because Makabe counts this as a victory. Aki takes it as a defeat and agrees to her punishment, which was a date with him. Makabe dresses up for the occasion, and all the girls notice him, including Aki. But not because of his looks, it's because she's dressed like she's in a cosplay. Even a social outcast otaku approaches her, but Makabe arrives just in time. However, he's also puzzled about why she's dressed that way. Yoshino tells him to trust her. By the way, Aki is extremely rich, and to avoid being bothered, she rented out the entire cinema. Still, she doesn't let him sit next to her. After the movie, they go to eat, and a little girl approaches Aki, asking why she's wearing such a strange dress. Aki tells her it's an expensive dress and that it's something you wear on dates. Since this was Aki's first date, she thought she should dress super elegantly. Makabe can't bear it any longer because Aki is embarrassing herself in front of everyone. So, he grabs her arm and takes her away. They go to a store to buy casual clothes, but our friend interrupts and sees the whole plot of the story, causing him to faint. When he wakes up, he's resting on Aki's lap and remembers that while she has always been tough on him, she has also been kind. These thoughts leave him confused at the end of the date because he doesn't know if he still has feelings for her. But he must not let his guard down. To continue his plan, Makabe starts reading romance mangas to understand better how to have charm. The next day in class, he sits next to Aki and spends the entire class staring at her and telling her that she only has eyes for him. However, it doesn't seem to be having the desired effect. The girl forgot her umbrella, and just that day, it starts raining. But there's nothing to worry about. Her Prince Charming arrives to the rescue. Makabe thinks everything he's doing is going perfectly and that the girl is falling for him. However, when he meets with Yoshino, she tells him that Aki said his behavior was pathetic, and she didn't say it just once but several times. Yoshino gives Makabe a great piece of advice. The more attention you show the girl you like, the more she will ignore you and get bored. He needs to ignore her. This always works. Take note, guys. Makabe isn't sure if what Yoshino said will work, but he has to try. So, when he arrives at school and is about to greet Aki, he walks past her without speaking, which surprises Aki. When he gets to the classroom, Makabe wants to sit next to her, but instead, he goes to the back with other guys. Makabe is afraid that what he's doing will throw away all the progress he's made, but he must continue. Even when he encounters Aki and now wants to talk to her, the girl pulls the same move and ignores him. Makabe tries to talk to her, but Yoshino gives him a look that says it all. For the rest of the day, Aki is in a very bad mood, and when the two finally meet, she says she has something to tell him. Makabe tries to escape, but he doesn't succeed. The girl asks what he is doing or what he expects to happen between them. Makabe thinks it's over, his plan has failed. But after the girl vents, she asks why he ignored her all day. That's right, it worked. The protagonist realizes what he has achieved but doesn't let himself get too excited. Makabe thinks and tells Aki that he ignored her on purpose so she would seek him out. When he's about to tell her he likes her, she asks what he likes about her. The problem is that Makabe doesn't really know what he likes about her, so he does what my dad did when I was born, run away and never return. Yoshino tells Makabe he was a fool for not knowing what to say in that situation and doubts Iki will forgive him for it. The girl was right because Makabe writes Iki a letter to express his feelings, but she takes it and throws it in the trash. She tells him she hates him and leaves. Makabe doesn't know what just happened, and at that moment, Yoshino arrives and tells him to stay calm. She will fix everything. He just has to trust her. But even though she will help, Makabe knows this revenge is for him. He must do it, not someone else. What he doesn't know is that the real reason Iki is angry is because she has been seeing him with Yoshino. She doesn't suspect they are plotting against her. Rather, she thinks the two like each other, and she feels very jealous. When Yoshino arrives, Iki wants to ask if she and Makabe are a couple but doesn't. However, Yoshino knows her well and understands what Iki is thinking. She tells her that there is nothing between her and Makabe. He only has eyes for Iki. She also asks if Iki likes Makabe. Iki wants to say yes but claims all men are liars. When she fell in love in the past, everything went wrong. She can't fall for someone else. Only then does she realize she was talking to no one because Yoshino had already left. Iki thinks she shouldn't fall for Makabe's charms. She behaves coldly towards others because deep down, she is very sensitive and fears being hurt by others. She prefers to be hated than to be hurt. But throughout all these days, she hasn't been able to get Makabe out of her mind. While she's lost in thought, she doesn't notice a car approaching. Just as a disaster is about to happen, Makabe arrives just in time, grabs her arm, and tells her that if anything happened to her, his world would fall apart. With these words worthy of a romance anime, Iki is ready to tell him how she feels. But a girl interrupts them to ask if they are okay. The strange thing is that the girl recognizes Makabe from somewhere and suddenly gives him a big hug with a bit of feminine affection. Makabe doesn't know who this girl is or if he knows her from somewhere. But before they can talk more, the girl's butler tells her she has to go. Before leaving, she tells Makabe they will meet again. Now, the problem is that Iki is super jealous. Makabe doesn't know what to do, so he thinks about bringing her food to calm her down. But before he can deliver it, he gets stopped and is told he can't pass on Iki's orders. However, after a while, he gets let through. When he's about to enter, Makabe rehearses what he wants to say to Iki but imagines that nothing goes right, so he simply leaves the food and goes. When he's not looking, the girl takes the food. In class, Makabe can't get the mysterious girl out of his mind because she is exactly his type. And what happens in these types of animes? Exactly, the new girl arrives at the protagonist's school. Finally, we learn her name, Nico. Makabe is ready to talk to her, but when the time comes, the other girls don't let him because they all want to talk to the new girl. This goes on for almost the entire day until Makabe gets tired and musters the courage to join the conversation. When he does, the girls tell him he arrived just in time because Nico was telling them she enrolled in the school because of him. She tells them that on a cold Christmas, she was collecting donations for a foundation. But no one paid attention to her until Makabe came. He gave her his coat so she wouldn't be cold and donated money. At that moment, she saw him as an angel sent from heaven and had been looking for him ever since. In reality, that's a lie because 2 years ago, Makabe was still overweight. Knowing that what the girl is saying didn't happen, he grabs her arm and says they need to talk alone. The two run out of the classroom, but Makabe doesn't realize the girl can't run and she ends up falling, appearing to be ill. Or maybe not, because the blood was just tomato sauce. Makabe asks how she really met him, but the girl says it's a secret she'd like to keep for now and that she'll tell him later. She wants to know if he has a girlfriend because if not, she wants to be his. Makabe is tempted to say no, but he says he doesn't have a girlfriend. However, there is someone in his heart and he wants to try something with that person. Nico understands and asks him to take her to that girl to clear up the misunderstanding from before. Makabe takes her to the classroom, thinking that although Nico is cute, once she sees Iki, she'll realize there's no chance. But the opposite happens because when Nico sees Iki, she says the fight will be easy. She enters the classroom, introduces herself to Iki, and congratulates her for being the person Makabe likes. But no one notices that someone was cleaning the windows, and when they open, the wind reveals the major plot of the story. And as Makabe sees it in 4K, Iki gets angry. This time, our guy follows her because he wants to explain that it's not what she thinks. But a teacher sees them and since they were fighting during class hours, punishes them by making them clean the pool. Makabe wants to use this time alone to talk things over, but Iki doesn't want to cooperate. She wants to annoy him all day, so she fills a bucket with water to throw at him. But since she doesn't have much strength, she slips and is about to fall into the pool. This time, Makabe doesn't rescue her. However, when she falls, he realizes she apparently can't swim, and without thinking, he jumps in to save her. But he soon realizes that although the girl is small, she can easily touch the bottom. Even though he saved her, she continues to complain about Nico. Makabe asks what he should do, saying that telling her he loves her isn't enough. What does he need to do to convince her she's the only one in his heart? Iki thinks for a moment and tells him that if he wants her to believe him, he should kiss her right then and there. Makabe doesn't know if he should because if he does, it would be like giving Iki the victory against all his plans. But if he doesn't, the girl won't believe he loves her. The final problem is that he's never kissed anyone and doesn't know how. Despite all this, Aki takes courage and is about to kiss him when she thinks she's Mike Tyson and gives him a good punch. Before he can react, the members of the swim club arrive. Aki tells him that this proved to him that he really loves her, but should that matter to him? Makabe doesn't know what goes through women's minds and neither do I, but he can't think about it too much because Nico arrives. The girl really shows that she's interested in why, knowing that he had been cleaning, she brings him many other things to regain his energy. Besides, she tells him again that even though Aki is present, she won't let herself like him. To take her out of the picture, Makabe will ask her the same question he asked Aki that she couldn't answer, "What do you like about me?" And if Nico responds with something physical, he'll reject her on the spot. But the girl tells him that she likes how kind he is, without noticing his great virtues. This response leaves Makabe blank because he didn't expect something like that. He knows the situation will get more complicated with her in the picture. Yoshino also knows that Nico is a dangerous girl, so she starts following her, although her investigation didn't last long because Nico's maid discovers her. But this doesn't bother Nico. The girl activates her social skills, takes Yoshino's hand, and asks if she can do something for her. But before finding out, Makabe is writing down the phrase Nico told him. But when he gets home, he doesn't expect to find Nico and Yoshino cooking with his mom. And how did this happen? Well, while the girls were talking, Makabe's mom realized she was wearing the same uniform as her son, and when they confirmed they were his classmates, the lady didn't hesitate to invite them to eat. And yes, that little creature is Makabe's mom. Our boy is not at all happy that the two are there, but Yoshino tells him he had no choice because Nico was about to catch her. And to make matters worse, Nico sees his exercise room, although she thinks it's for therapy. Makabe doesn't want her to see his things in the rest of the house, but since the two end up very close together, the girl tells him that if he wants to clap at that moment. But our boy is a Christian and won't fall for that. Minutes later, everyone eats, and Makabe's sister suggests that since everyone is at the house, it's time to light the fireworks. Makabe doesn't want this because it means the girls will stay longer at the house, but his opinion doesn't matter, the girls do it, and he even changes clothes. Makabe apologizes to Yoshino for what he's putting her through, but the girl tells him everything is fine. Besides, she's a little afraid of fireworks because once Aki did an experiment with her. Meanwhile, Makabe thinks that if Nico weren't a liar, things between them would be different. If she didn't have her revenge plan, maybe the story between them would be different. When it's time for the girls to leave, we see that Nico stops in the protagonist's room before leaving.
That's weird.
Then Makabe accompanies Yoshino to take the train, but the girl tells him not to let Nico deceive him. And boy is she right, because remember that the girl stopped in Makabe's room. Well, she took the picture he had of him and Iki. Time passes, and the vacations have arrived, and Makabe has the perfect plan to spend more time with Iki. But the girl has other plans and tells him she'll spend the vacation on her private island. But what Mac didn't expect is that Iki would invite Shuri. Iki tells him they'll have a great time. Makabe knows she's doing it to bother him, but what the girl didn't expect is that Shuri tells her he can't go if Makabe doesn't go. The protagonist knows his friend just saved him. The problem now is that Nico also wants to go in Futaba. With no other option, the girls have to invite everyone to their private beach. On the boat, Makabe and Yoshino talk, and the girl tells him she hasn't found weaknesses in Nico if she knows how the two of them met. The only thing she knows is that she's a very dangerous girl for the plan. But Makabe tells her it doesn't matter if two girls like her show up, he'll take care of it. But Yoshino tells him that if he doesn't do anything with Iki during the trip, she'll tell Iki everything. Makabe is between a rock and a hard place, but he knows he has to do something so Iki doesn't find out anything. When they arrive at Iki's luxurious house, they are received by her father's secretary, who has the biggest plot in the story. Midori receives them all, but she is surprised when she sees a boy, and thinks that maybe he is Iki's boyfriend. Makabe knows he has to act quickly and risks telling her that he and Iki are dating, which doesn't go over very well. But he knows that Iki doesn't like to be embarrassed in front of the other girls, so she has to accept that the two of them are dating to save face, and she does. Additionally, Midori tells him that she is very glad that he has a girlfriend because all her life Iki had said she detested boys and it had her a little worried, and this way she could also develop the plot she doesn't have. Apparently the secretary is very happy, or maybe not, because when no one is watching she says that Makabe will be an obstacle for her. When Iki and Makabe talk in private, the girl tells him that what he said was crazy, but for the sake of the two of them they'll pretend to be a couple. But only for that time while they're at the beach, but if he oversteps, he'll regret it, terms which Makabe accepts. Besides, our boy is ready to show off that Greek god body, although the only one who compliments him is Shuri, and of course Nico, who gives him a bit of feminine affection. But Iki arrives and tells her to step away from her man. They're dating and she'd appreciate if she doesn't get any closer to Makabe. The protagonist didn't think Iki would act that way, but he also likes it. The one who doesn't like it is Nico, who only tells her that it's fine. But she also won't let go of Makabe that easily just because she says so. Iki takes Makabe's hand and takes him somewhere for just the two of them. But now that the two are alone, the girl shows her true personality and asks him to go get her some food. With no other option, our boy does it, and in the kitchen he runs into Midori. In front of him she acts kindly, but she has other intentions because she tells him there is a haunted place nearby they can explore with their friends. Makabe thinks it's a good idea because that way Iki will get scared and the two of them can get closer. But what he doesn't know is that Midori told him that so the exact opposite would happen, and we know the reason in the past. When Midori started working for Iki's family, she found Iki crying over Makabe when he left. But at that moment she chose pride over being sad, something Midori really liked, and from that moment on she saw how Iki started coldly rejecting boy after boy. She was very proud of her, but now that Makabe has arrived she doesn't know what happened to her evil Iki. When it's time to enter the haunted house, they all take a stick to see who goes in first, and the order is Yoshino first, Shuri, Futaba, Iki, Makabe, and finally Nico. The protagonist's plan is for Iki to get scared and for him to arrive like a prince to save her, and she'll forgive him and ask him to be her boyfriend for the rest of her life. Something that won't happen because Midori is inside the house to scare Makabe in front of Iki and make him look ridiculous so that Iki will break up with him. But things also won't turn out as she expects because Yoshino arrives to save the day, and in disguise she scares Midori and makes her run away, and instead of scaring Makabe she ends up scaring Iki and all the other guys. And when she finally comes out of the house, she runs into Nico and her tomato sauce, but Midori thinks she's a ghost, runs away, but hits a pole and loses consciousness. When she wakes up, she notices Makabe is carrying her. He explains that he and Iki aren't actually together, but he did the haunted house thing to get closer to Iki, but he didn't think she would participate too. She's a very reliable person and he wants to learn that from her, and with these words Makabe manages to gain Midori's trust. When the beach vacation ends, Makabe apologizes to his teacher because he couldn't do anything with Iki, but she tells him it's okay, what he did with Midori was more than enough, but he shouldn't let his guard down. And she's right because days later, while he was exercising, someone calls him on the phone. Makabe thinks it's Yoshino, but it's actually Iki. The protagonist gets nervous because he doesn't know what the girl will tell him, although later we find out she only called to tell him that she had left something at her beach house and wants to give it to him. Yoshino tells him that's a good opportunity for the two of them to be alone. But Makabe will have other things on his mind because when he's about to study, he realizes the photo of him and Iki as kids is no longer there. He immediately thinks of Nico, but he doesn't understand why she would take the photo. All this worry means that when they meet up with Iki, our boy doesn't know what to do about the photo problem, and since he's not paying attention to Iki, the girl gets annoyed and ends up leaving. What Makabe didn't expect is for Nico to call him. The girl tells him that Futaba had invited them to the pool, but she doesn't know if he'll go. Makabe changes the subject and asks if she's nearby because he wants to see her, to which the girl agrees. When he arrives at her apartment, which looks more like the entire building, the two start talking. But Makabe knows he has to find the photo, so he tells Nico where the bathroom is and takes the opportunity to sneak into Nico's room and look for the photo. But no matter how hard he looks, he can't find it, and to complicate everything, Nico catches him. Makabe doesn't want to play games anymore and asks her if she took the photo, and she easily tells him yes, he looked so cute in that photo that she couldn't help but take it. Makabe doesn't understand because in that photo he was fat. But she tells him that doesn't matter, he's always been cute. These words hit Makabe right in the heart because no one had ever told him that before. Maybe Nico isn't so bad, maybe things between the two of them could work out. And finally what we were all waiting for happens, long live love. And not only that, because the girl tells him she wants to clap at that moment. Makabe gets carried away, his whole plan, his goals and ambitions, nothing matters anymore. However, at that moment Iki starts appearing in his mind, and he realizes something. Nico doesn't really love him. Makabe pushes her away and tells her he can't be with someone who isn't serious, someone who doesn't truly love him. Makabe takes the photo and tells her no one can interfere with his revenge. He leaves the building with a stomachache from all the nerves, and the girl is left crying because she's just been rejected. For the same reason, the next day when they go to the pool outing, Makabe is nervous to see the girl again after what happened between them, and since his face doesn't disguise anything, everyone realizes he's not doing very well, especially Iki. Throughout the whole trip, Makabe was distracted. No matter what the others did, he couldn't stop thinking about what happened the night before. The one who asks him what's wrong is Yoshino, but the other guys also come over, and not just them because Nico's maid also arrives, and not in a good way because she gets out of the car and goes straight to Makabe to ask him what he did to Nico because since the night before the girl went home and they haven't been able to find her. She tells them that when she arrived at the apartment, Nico was already gone and she knows Makabe was there the night before. On top of that, the girl left all her medicines at the apartment. Makabe thought the girl was taking pills, but he didn't think she was so sick that if she doesn't take her pills soon she's in grave danger. The maid asks him to be honest with her about what happened the night before, and Makabe is clear. He rejected her and told her he chose Iki. But no one pays any attention, not even Iki. In fact, the girl is still angry with him. Okay, now the guys split up to find Nico. Some go to the mall, others to the park. But no matter how hard they look, they can't find her. As a last resort, Makabe goes to the school where he thinks she might be, and if she's not there, he doesn't know where else to look. Eki also thinks this, and the protagonist tells her he thought she wouldn't help them because she doesn't like Nico, and she tells him it's true, she doesn't like Nico at that moment, but she feels bad for her. She knows what it's like to be rejected by the person you love, she knows how bad it feels. These words anger Makabe because he feels the girl is a hypocrite because she says she knows how bad it feels to be rejected. But when someone confesses to her she does everything possible to break their heart without mercy, it doesn't make sense what she's saying. That gives Makabe a bit of self-love. At that moment, paper planes start falling from the sky and Makabe remembers that Nico had a manga where the girl was rejected and from the rooftop she sent paper planes. Makabe knows exactly where the girl is. He runs to the rooftop and there's Nico. The girl tells him she's there because she knew he would come. Makabe holds her in his arms because Nico is quite weak, and then takes her to the doctor. The maid tells them that Nico is fine and stable, but is asked to speak with Eki. Makabe thinks that if he had handled the situation differently, none of this would have happened. What happened to Nico is his fault. Minutes later, Eki tells him that now Nico wants to talk to him. When he enters the room, the girl tells him she's okay. He doesn't need to worry. What they need to do is talk about the past. She starts telling him part of her story and how all the people around her were kind. But she knew it was also because they pitied her for her illness. Things got more complicated when her grandfather told her that her illness needed to be treated as soon as possible or else she would lose her life. She told her grandfather she would continue with all the treatments, but with one condition, she wanted to fall in love. And so it was. In reality, she had never met Makabe in the past, but literally chose him at random from photos of boys. But when she met him, she knew what she felt was more than a whim because she really started to like him. But she knows her love is unrequited, but she thanks him for teaching her what love is and what it is to lose love. She also warns him about the path he's on because just as her lies were discovered, his can be too. With all that on his mind, Makabe leaves the room and when Eki wants to talk to him, Makabe walks right past and pays her no attention. He goes the whole way thinking about Nico's words. What if he's discovered? Everything he's planned won't work. He needs to focus on what he really wants, his revenge. On the other hand, Eki is confused because she doesn't know if she can trust Makabe's words. But the girl is becoming more and more convinced because just thinking about him makes her nervous. She compares what she feels with what she felt for Makabe as a child. A true love, something she doesn't understand because she says she loved Makabe, but she always treated him badly. But things are about to change because a new character arrives, someone very similar to Makabe. The new guy's name is Gasso and he's from a very good family. He's there to give a letter to Eki's father, but first the butler reads it. When he starts reading it, there's nothing strange, but the more he reads, he knows where the case is going. That Naso is there to ask for Eki's hand in marriage and unite the two families. He's going to marry Eki, you know, rich people things. Yoshino knows this is important and tries to call Makabe, but our boy was too busy doing Saitama's routine. When the vacation ends, everyone returns to classes and Eki goes back to rejecting all the boys. All her friends are happy to see her, but one of them tells her she's spent too much time with Makabe. But she tells them there's nothing between them, he's nobody to her. Who is summoned to her is Gasso, the boy who will transfer to Eki's school, and the girl happily accompanies him to meet the principal, which her friends find strange. They think it's not that Eki didn't like men, but that she liked chubby ones. On the other hand, Makabe is more than ready to go back to classes, but what he didn't expect was to see Nico because the girl had told him she was going to travel a bit. But she tells him she's already had surgery, so she's better. Nico asks him if during the time she was gone he made any progress with Eki, but he tells her no because he dedicated the last days of vacation to training, so she doesn't need to worry. But while they're talking, they see Eki walking with Gasso. Although when Makabe sees the guy, it seems impossible to him that someone like him could be competition. However, my friend, that guy is competition, and Makabe realizes it when he brings Eki a gift, but finds Eki with the guy, and hears Gasso calling her Mayaki. The two introduce themselves and curiously have the same name, Masamune. Makabe asks if he and Eki are family, but the guy tells him it's something like that. He and she are engaged. Makabe doesn't understand anything that's happening. He can't believe that guy is Eki's type. Gasso is exactly what Eki rejected Makabe for. Yoshino tells him she doesn't understand it either, but she thinks Eki really does like Gasso. The ones who don't like the guy at all are Eki's friends because their untouchable queen has been brought down from her pedestal. But Gasso knows this, so he goes to them and tells them he wants to talk to them. He tells them he knows he's not worthy of Eki. He can't even kiss her, but he can't let anyone else hurt her, so he wants to protect her at all costs from other guys, and that someone is Makabe. Because when he tries to talk to her, the girl ignores him and tells him to leave her alone, and all this is seen by Eki's friends. Later, when they choose what each class will do for the school festival, Makabe's class chooses to present the Snow White play, with Shuri as the princess and Makabe as the prince. And since our friend knows he can't say no because Futaba won't accept anything else, he accepts his fate. The problem is that the other class also chose to do the same thing. And this is where Iki's friends come in because one of them is the student council president and she chooses the proposal from Iki's class, where the girl is the princess and Gasso is the prince. But what they didn't count on is that this would not please Futaba at all because she tells them her class sent in the request first. It makes no sense for the other class to do the same thing. But Iki also gets defensive and tells her they'll do whatever they want. Makabe knows he has to think carefully and tells everyone that both classes should do the same play. But now it's a competition and the audience will decide who did it better. Everyone agrees and Makabe talks privately with Gasso and tells him that whoever wins will get to dance with Iki at the festival dance, and the guy accepts. With the preparations underway, everyone rehearses the play, but Futaba is more like an angry Hollywood director, so because of her and all the pressure, Shiri runs out, and when she gets to the classroom she finds Nico, who asks her how she's doing. And when the girl leaves, he says she's the only girl who is truly kind to him and always lovely, and his heart starts beating faster. While Makabe was looking for Shuri, he runs into Gasso and the guy rubs it in his face how they're practicing the play with Iki and how he's always giving her chocolates. And what's also important is that Iki's followers are watching it all and say they'll make sure Makabe doesn't act in the play the next day. After rehearsals, Iki goes with Gasso to get something to eat and he mentions he ran into Makabe, but she tells him not to mention him because he's not important. And here we learn something that is important, that Gasso's family has had financial problems and he is the family's last hope. He has to marry Iki so his family can get their money back. Makabe is not a problem, but he is the boy Iki used to play with as a child. Remember, neither Iki nor Gasso know that Makabe is that boy because I forgot to mention Makabe changed his last name. And another important thing is that Iki likes Gasso for the simple reason that he reminds her of Makabe as a child. On the day of the festival, there's another serious problem. Makabe is sick because the night before he tried to prove his bravery, but now he has a fever. And although he wants to rest, Nico doesn't let him because she tells him they should go see all the festival things. But that wasn't the case, because as soon as she saw him she knew he wasn't feeling well and took him to the infirmary. On the other hand, Gasso is looking for a place to change, but can't find one until someone mysterious tells him where he can change. Now Shuri thinks that maybe she likes Nico, but she knows that Nico likes Makabe, so maybe if he's a little more masculine he can win over Nico. And when he finds her, she tells him Makabe isn't feeling very well. But when they go to leave him something to drink, he's already gone. The two run to tell Futaba and she says she hasn't seen him. They look everywhere for him, but can't find him because one of Iki's followers caught Makabe. She tells him that since he was weak, it was quite easy to carry him off. She explains that she won't do anything to him. He just has to stay there until Iki and Gasso dance together. What none of Iki's followers expected is that Gasso has also disappeared, and that's thanks to the best character in this anime, Yoshino. She took him to the gym and locked him in there.
That's what I'm talking about! That's why he's the MVP! That's why he's the GOAT! The GOAT!
Back with Makabe, he tells the girl to release him. But she won't do that and Makabe tells her why does she admire Iki so much for being honest, but they're cheating behind her back. Doesn't that seem contradictory to her? These words work because the girl doesn't know if she's doing the right thing or not and ends up releasing Makabe. At that moment, he receives a call from another one of Iki's followers. She tells him they will let him go and declare this a tie, but on the condition that he releases Gasso. At first Makabe didn't know what she was talking about, but he realizes his great master had helped him, so he starts playing in his favor and tells her he doesn't know where the guy is. Plus, his class's presentation isn't until the afternoon while theirs is at that moment. Checkmate. The others inform Iki that they haven't found Gasso anywhere and she tells them it doesn't matter, they must start without him. Besides, she has never believed in princes. Now all Makabe has to do is leave, but when the girl finds out Gasso is missing, she blames Makabe. Our boy looks for a way to escape, but it's too high up. Though he has no choice because the girl is coming, but he manages to grab onto the window, and the girl falls into the water. Then he explains to his friends what happened and they tell him that Grupa has already started the play, but has no prince. Upon hearing this, Makabe runs to the classroom. Makabe sees how well everyone is acting and the dedication everyone put into the play, but he knows that without a prince the play will be incomplete and all the effort the others made will be for nothing. So he talks to the bespectacled girl and proposes something. Iki knows that if Gasso doesn't show up, no matter how well they act, the play won't end like that. But she better than anyone knows that princes leave and abandon their princess. But she wonders again how she expected Makabe to come back to her after humiliating him. However, this time the prince did arrive. Makabe talked to the others and told them he would act as the prince. The girls couldn't believe it because he's from the other class. Makabe tells them he can't let everyone's efforts go to waste, so he'll act as the prince. But due to the fever, he can't stay on his feet. The other guys help hold him up, and the sword girl tells the bespectacled girl it's normal for him to be weak because of the fever he has. And there the girl realizes Makabe is a great guy. He tries with all his might to reach Iki, and who gives him the final push is Yoshino. He approaches the girl and knows he just has to kiss her to end the whole play, and that's what he does. The kiss was pretend, but from the fever he gets confused and gives her a real one, surprising everyone, and especially Iki, who sends him flying again, and that's how the play ends. Oh, and right when he kissed her, Gasso arrived. To celebrate, everyone goes to karaoke, but since that part is boring, we're going to skip it. After everyone went home, only Iki, Makabe, and of course Yoshino remained, but she's buying food for Iki. Iki thanks the protagonist for what he did in the play, not only saving her but also her classmates, so that's why she'll give him whatever he wants. Makabe doesn't know what to ask for, but he risks it and ends up asking her for a kiss in return. And even though he thought Iki wouldn't accept, the girl tells him it's okay. Makabe is super nervous about what's going to happen. But when he thinks he'll touch the sky, the girl tricks him again and gives him a bit of her food, which for her is like a kiss. Yoshino tells him he still has a lot to do to complete his plan, and he knows that perfectly well. And since a school trip is coming up, he plans the next part of his plan. But we'll find out about that in the next part. I hope with all my heart that Makabe doesn't become Iki's boyfriend. She doesn't deserve him. If you made it this far, comment 23 and I'll give you a great greeting and you'll get a glow up. My name is Alex, you all are the best. God bless you. Bye bye.